The story of the Great Wall does not begin with one man. It does not start with a single long wall snaking across the mountains. Instead, it starts with many walls. These were built long before China was even a single country. We must go back in time, the Warring States. A time of chaos and conflict, from about the 7th century BC. Many small states fought for land and power. They were constantly at war. To protect their homes and their people, they began building defensive barriers. Not yet a great wall. The seeds of an idea. These early walls were simple constructions, not the stone structures we see today. Most were rammed earth. Workers took soil, gravel, and sometimes wood, and pounded them between wooden frames. Layer by layer, they built high, solid mounds. This technique, hangtu, used local resources. The walls served their purpose. They defended against rival states. They also offered protection from nomadic raiders from the northern grasslands. Each state, the Qi, the Yan, the Zhao, and others, had its own section of wall, a clear line marking territory and strength. The purpose was purely defensive, to slow invaders, give soldiers a vantage point, and control who came and went. Fragmented walls were shields in a divided land. Over centuries the idea evolved, the ancestors of the Great Wall. The scattered walls would not remain separate for long. A new power was rising in the west, the state of Qin. Led by a ruthless and ambitious king named Ying Zheng, Qin conquered its rivals one by one. By 221 BC he unified China and declared himself Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor. He wanted an empire to last 10,000 generations, and to do this, he needed to protect it. His gaze turned north to the constant threat of the Xiongnu nomads, fierce horsemen who raided settlements. He saw the old state walls, some now useless internal barriers, and ordered those destroyed. The northern walls were different. He would connect them, link, strengthen, extend. One single massive defensive line, the birth of the First Great Wall, unimaginable in scale. Its purpose was threefold. First, defense, a barrier against swift Xiongnu cavalry to stop raids into the heartland. Second, a political statement, a clear border of the civilized world. Inside, empire, order, agriculture. Outside, wilderness, chaos, barbarians. Finally, consolidation. The project mobilized resources and labor on a massive scale. Hundreds of thousands were sent north. Soldiers, convicts, and common peasants. It cemented imperial authority. The wall became an imperial instrument. The wall became legend, a symbol of his incredible vision and his staggering cruelty. The Great Wall was not a static object built once and left to stand forever. It was a living, breathing project. It changed with every dynasty that followed the Qin. After their fall, the Han took power. They continued the first emperor's work, recognizing the northern frontiers, a northern strategic value. The Han extended the wall far west, protecting the vital trade route that became the Silk Road. Through it flowed goods, ideas, culture, and it needed protection from nomadic raids. Han sections used rammed earth and reeds, suited to desert landscapes. They built watchtowers and forts at intervals, with garrisons, supplies, and signal systems. Fires and smoke signals sent messages along the line, relayed from tower to tower across hundreds of miles in hours. The Han Wall was a communication network as much as a barrier. After Han came eras of division and unity. Powerful dynasties like the Tang held lands beyond the wall. In such times it fell into disrepair. Others faced renewed threats and rebuilt. Northern Qi, Sui. The wall's fortunes rose and fell with emperors. It was never one continuous structure but a patchwork from different eras. Some swallowed by sand, others strengthened. The wall mirrors China's history, powerful dynasties expanding, weaker ones retreating, a negotiation between settled China and the northern steppes. For many people, the image they have of the Great Wall is not rammed earth, but majestic stone and brick. This is the wall of the Ming dynasty. The Ming came to power in 1368 after driving out the Mongols. Haunted by northern invasion, they made defense an obsession, launching the most ambitious wall-building phase in history. The Ming created the Great Wall we know today. Their strategy was different, not just a barrier, an impassable one, especially around the capital, Beijing. They used durable materials, quarried stone for foundations and outer shell, rubble and earth within. The top was paved with bricks, forming a roadway wide enough for soldiers, even horses, a significant upgrade, far more resistant to weather and attack, built to last centuries. The Ming Wall was a feat of military engineering, not a single wall, but a system. Thousands of watchtowers, barracks, and fortresses at crucial passes. Intricate design. Watchtowers, within sight. Signals passed quickly. Crenellations and parapets for archers. Drainage to prevent erosion. The Ming turned the wall into a stone dragon, winding over mountains and across valleys. A project spanning over 2 centuries. A testament to Ming determination and resources. A military frontier of unparalleled scale. But also a symbol of a defensive, inward-looking mindset. Where the Tang once expanded outward, the Ming secured borders with permanent fortification. The Ming Great Wall, the peak of Chinese wall-building technology, magnificent and imposing, born from fear of the world beyond. Building the Great Wall was a monumental task that required immense human effort and ingenuity. Materials depended on the local environment. In the east, abundant stone meant huge granite blocks for foundations and casings. Kilns fired millions of gray bricks to pave walkways and build watchtowers. Logistics were staggering, hauling stone up brutal slopes often by hand, sometimes with simple pulleys. In Gansu's deserts, builders continued rammed earth, layering soil, gravel, and reeds, pounding each course dense and durable, weathered by wind and sand, yet still standing. Qin Shi Huang conscripted hundreds of thousands, soldiers, peasants, and convicts. Peasants left their farms, convicts labored under guard in the harsh frontier. Treacherous mountains, deep gorges, shifting deserts, scorching heat and bitter cold, scarce food, falls and collapses were common. For many, the wall was a death sentence, the longest cemetery on earth. For soldiers, life mixed boredom with constant tension. Years in remote towers and forts. They kept watch, tended plots, hunted, drilled, eyes and ears of the empire. Signals relayed in hours, sending reinforcements swiftly along the line. A frontier society born around the wall. The Great Wall is more than stone and earth. It is woven into Chinese culture through countless legends. The most famous is Meng Jiangnu. Newly married to Fan Xiliang, she lost him to sudden conscription for the wall. She journeyed for weeks to bring him warm clothes for the bitter frontier. She learned he had died and was buried within the structure. She wept for days and nights. Her sorrow shook the heavens. A 400-kilometer section crumbled, revealing countless buried bones. And his remains. After burying him, she cast herself into the Bohai Sea, a protest against tyranny and the wall's human cost. After 1644, the wall's military role ended. The Qing came from north of the wall. Garrisons were dismantled, stones weathered and taken. For centuries it decayed, until Western explorers romanticized the ruin and introduced it to the world. In the 20th century it transformed into a national symbol. Mao declared, "He who has not reached the Great Wall is not a true man." In 1987 it became a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Restorations and tourism renewed its presence. Today, the Great Wall stands as more than a relic, a testament to ambition, perseverance, and ancient ingenuity. It is many walls, a chronicle of dynasties, fears, and technologies layered across time. It fuels economies, fosters identity, and symbolizes strength, endurance, and unity. A silent, winding dragon of stone, reminding us of the cost of conflict and the universal human desire for peace and belonging.